So, something major just happened. Just yesterday, the entire global tech market got hit by an earthquake. But this wasn't a financial crisis, it wasn't a pandemic, it was a single product announcement. An AI that sent absolute shockwaves through the whole software industry. This is the story of how that happened.
$285 billion. Just gone. Wiped from the value of software and IT stocks all around the world in a single day. The sell-off was so fast, so brutal, and it left everyone asking this one terrifying question. Is our entire business model now totally obsolete?
You know, this quote from market analyst Dan Coatsworth just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures the fear that gripped Wall Street. The idea wasn't just that this new AI would help software companies. The fear was that it could cut them out of the loop completely. Not just a new tool, but a full-on replacement.
Okay, so let's dive in and make sense of this. To really get what happened, we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the crash itself. Then we'll meet the AI that actually caused all the panic. After that, we'll separate the hype from the reality of the tech, look at the real disruption it's causing, and we'll finish up with the most important piece of the puzzle, the human in the loop. It all went down on February 3rd, 2026, a day that people are already calling the SaaSpocalypse. And it really marks this moment where the market suddenly started to factor in this insane risk, that AI could become a direct competitor to the very software companies it was supposed to be helping.
And what's just staggering here is how widespread the damage was. I mean, this wasn't contained to just one little niche. The panic was completely contagious. It hammered the big data giants like Thomson Reuters and RELX. It crushed legal tech like LegalZoom. But then it spread to the absolute bedrock of the industry, hitting giants like Salesforce and even massive IT firms like Infosys. The message was loud and clear. Nobody is safe.
Okay, so let's get to the cause of all this chaos. The catalyst was a brand new tool from the AI company Anthropic. It's called Claude Cowork. And believe me, this is not just another chatbot. This thing represents a fundamental shift in what AI can actually do.
Claude Cowork is what we call agentic AI, and with it, we are officially entering the agentic era. Think of it this way. Up until now, AI has been kind of like a passive assistant, right? You ask it a question, it gives you an answer. Agentic AI is an active participant. It's like a digital employee that you can delegate entire projects to.
So here's the critical difference in how this thing works. You don't tell it what to do step by step. Instead, you just tell it the final outcome you want. The AI then figures out the entire strategy. It breaks that down into smaller jobs it can run at the same time, and then it just executes. It works on your files, creates new documents, automates the whole workflow, all on its own. It's a huge shift from having a dialogue to pure delegation.
And these capabilities right here show you exactly why the market reacted so violently. I mean, sure, organizing a messy folder or turning your notes into a slick PowerPoint, that's cool. But the thing that really broke the market was that third bullet point, the legal plugin. All of a sudden, this AI could automate contract reviews and compliance checks. And that's targeting the high-margin, specialized work that companies pay an absolute fortune for.
You know, a market panic this big forces us to stop and ask a really critical question. Is the hype actually real? Is this technology really as world-changing as the stock market seems to think it is?
I mean, this is the question at the heart of that whole $285 billion sell-off. Is this it? Is this the end of the road for the traditional software industry?
This slide really gets to the core of the whole debate. The market panic is pricing AI as if it's a direct competitor. But the reality, when you actually look under the hood, is that it's much more of a powerful, but still dependent, executor.
So let's just ground ourselves for a second in what this tech actually is. That scary legal plugin? It isn't some synthetic lawyer's brain. It's just a very, very clever set of instructions running on a general-purpose AI. And this isn't true autonomy. It's an incredible executor for sure, but it still needs a human to design the project, to set the goals, and to review the final output. In fact, studies show these AIs still fail on really complex logical tasks by themselves, but their effectiveness just multiplies when you pair them with a human expert. Okay, so while the whole AI will replace everything story is a bit overhyped, that definitely doesn't mean there isn't a massive disruption happening. It's just maybe not the one that the initial panic suggested.
The real threat here is to the business model that has powered the software industry for decades, the per-seat license, right? SaaS companies make their money by selling a license for every single human user. But what happens when one AI agent can do the work that used to take 20 people with 20 different software licenses? The value shifts. It moves from the tool that helps a human to the agent that does the work itself.
And this reveals an even deeper, more structural problem. Think about it. If agentic AI automates all the routine entry-level work, the contract reviews, the basic coding, the data entry, then how does the next generation of experts ever get trained? Roles like junior associate and junior developer have been the training ground for decades. When that work disappears, you create a massive crisis in the talent pipeline for entire industries.
So this all leads us to what is probably the single most important takeaway from this entire event. In this new agentic era, the role of human oversight, of human judgment, and of human responsibility is more critical than it has ever been.
This quote from the legal tech company Clio just says it all, doesn't it? The AI can accelerate the work, sure, it can do the heavy lifting, but it cannot replace professional judgment. It doesn't get context, it has no ethical reasoning, and you can't hold it accountable. That responsibility will always, always stay with the human professional.
But listen, there is a massive hidden risk here that professionals have to understand. If you're using a standard pro or team consumer-grade account for an AI like Claude, your data is being used to train the model by default. That means you could be feeding confidential client information directly back into the AI, which is a huge ethical and security breach. Only the enterprise-level accounts actually prohibit this.
This is exactly why professional groups like the American Bar Association are making this crystal clear. You have a duty of competence, meaning you have to understand the tool's limits. You have a duty of confidentiality. You absolutely must protect your client's data. And a duty of supervision. You are 100% responsible for whatever the AI produces. The AI is a powerful tool, but it is never a substitute for professional accountability.
And that really just leaves us with this final thought. In a world where an AI can draft an entire document, the signature on that final brief, it still has to be human. But in this new agentic era, what does that signature truly represent? It's a question every single professional is going to have to answer.